All right, everybody, welcome to the video here for lesson number 12. So the second lesson on practicing with the systems of equations here with three variables. Nothing really different here other than the fact that there's a potential that you could actually have something that comes out to be no solution. So the first thing I would always do is go into my calculator, graph this, or plug this in as a matrix, and solve it just to see what I get for answers. So I already know before I even start this problem, my answer for x should be 2, the answer for y should be 3, and the answer for z should be -1. This will kind of help me so that when I find my first solution, I can then say, all right, so I know that that's right or I know that that's wrong. So looking at our variables, and this is the part that I think some of us are, I don't want to say struggling with, but questioning themselves. What variable do I want to eliminate? You technically can choose any one you want. Just one of them is usually a little bit easier than the others. So for example, for this question, I'm going to try and eliminate z. So I'm going to take 5x plus y minus 6z equals 19. So I've used this middle equation. And then the last equation has a negative 6z. I want it to be positive, so I'm just going to multiply that whole equation by -1. So that's going to become 4x plus 6y plus 6z is equal to positive 20. That cancels the z's. So I get 9x plus 7y equals 39. Now I have to use this last equation, but I want to make it so that the z is a 6. So if I make that a negative 36x minus 12y minus 6z is equal to 17 times 6, so negative 102. I've then used that equation, and then I want to add it to another equation that would cancel out the z's. So since it says negative 6z, I'm going to use the same one again I created over here. So that's going to be 4x plus 6y plus 6z equals 20. Sorry, I've been a little bit sick. Excuse all the coughing. So if we add up our terms, we get that equation. And again, I want to get it so that the y's or the x's now cancel. So there's a couple things I can do. So first I'm going to see, is there a common value here in any of these that I could divide away, kind of make it easier? With the 32, the 82, I could divide everything by 2. That's not going to help me tremendously. So I'm probably just going to leave the numbers as is. So I'm going to multiply this one by 6. I'm going to multiply this one by 7. That'll make it so that the y's cancel. I'm going to get some bigger numbers, and that's totally fine. It's going to give me 54x plus 6 times 7, so we can get our 42y, and our 6 times 39, which gives us 234. For this one, I have my 7 times negative 32, so negative 224x, minus 42y, so those y's are going to cancel, that's good, and 7 times 82, so negative 574. So if I add them together, so just put them on the same workspace here, those cancel. So if I do negative 224 and 54 combined together, that gives us negative 170x, and negative 574 and 234 combined together gives us negative 340, which gives us x equals 2, which is what we expected to get. So then we can plug back in to figure out y. So I can say 9 times 2 plus 7y equals 39. I know it seems obvious, but a couple people asked me this actually yesterday, so I'll just kind of go over it. Why did I plug into this equation? Well, it's right here, right? They were asking me where I got that number from, right? So those numbers are coming from the fact that it's already an equation with x and y. So if you do your 18 plus 7y, I guess that stayed as red, which is totally fine. So I get 7y equals 21, or y is equal to 3, which we expected to get. make another color here, right? So now we have x and we have y, and we still want to find z. So if I do -6 times 2 minus 2 times 3 minus z, that's all equal to -17. I'm just using this equation down here. So if you do some solving here, you get z equals -1. The nice part about using the matrix in the calculator, you already know what the answer is, so you don't have to do a ton of algebra there to solve. All right, so our second question, actually our last question for today's lesson, if I plug it into the calculator, I get a bottom line of 0,001, meaning there's going to be no solution to this question. Now, the thing algebraically is we have to figure out why it's no solution, or we have to show why it's no solution. So we want to try and pick equations to add together here, just like we did above, right? Nothing different. The only difference here is when we start to find our systems, one of them is going to have no variables left. So first thing I have to do is figure out, well, what variable do I want to get rid of? It doesn't really look too easy here, so I'm going to try and get rid of y. So to get rid of y, I want the y's to be 6's. Sorry about the bells. So if I make the first equation multiplied by 2, that's going to be 6x minus 6y plus 8z equals -46. I'm just multiplying everything there by 2. If I take the middle equation and multiply by 3, I'm going to get 3x plus 6y, so those will cancel, minus 9z is equal to 75. Cancel those out, and we get 75 and -46 is 29. So I've used the first one and the second one. I've yet to use the last one, so I want to make it so that that is also going to have a -6y. So if I do, or actually I can even just multiply it by 2. So that'll be 8x minus 2y plus 2z is equal to 50, and then just multiply that to the middle equation, or add that to the middle equation, sorry. Kind of go through this quickly here. So those cancel. So then you get 9x minus z is equal to 75. Well, there's a red flag to me right away. I have the same exact expression here that I have here, but they're equal to different numbers. That can't happen. So if I start to go through and eliminate this, so if I multiply this by negative, I get -9x plus z equals -75. Everything here cancels, and I get 0 is equal to -46, which doesn't work. So then we could just say simply no solution. There's your answer. I don't know why I deleted the line. All right, so there's your quick overview of the homework. Hopefully this video helps, and please make sure that you are studying for your test on Friday.